something to share with you. You might have heard about it, but then again, you might not have.
All right, it's Wednesday.
Yes,
and that is when all the beautiful, delectable, sassy, what other words, Titi? You
so
need
many
to burn me words.
What?
Scintillating. Scintillating.
Beautiful.
Radiating.
Endearing.
Endearing. Women of Wake Up Nigeria come together to bring magic to your morning.
And for this special one, the princess in our midst is having her first experience on the Wonder Woman Wednesday. How you doing?
I'm great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I mean, it feels so great being here with you. You beautiful ladies, you guys look so amazing.
Oh,
so
thank
amazing.
you. Thank you.
Honestly, I'm just like so glad we get to have a women's show again.
Right.
Yeah, having guys on Wednesday was just really irking me out. But
luckily, we actually have, we're going to be having a lot of female guests on the show today.
Amazing,
so
amazing.
It's all around women. So you need to sit and anticipate. What we have is an actual lot, guys. No jokes. This morning, we recommend a cup of coffee, tea, whatever, to go with this beautiful experience you are about to experience.
Yes, so you're in for a treat. Trust us to bring you something nice, hot and fresh like agege bread.
Hey.
We have a family breakfast show like no other, and it happens every single weekday from 7 till 9 a.m.
And we're not about to disappoint you this morning. If anything, we are set to raise the bar for you and for yourselves. My name is Ememi Okoche.
And I am Titilayo Oyinson. Please stream the show live at tvcentertainment.tv and, of course, on Facebook at TVC Connect.
And do not forget to send in your comments on all our social media platforms at TVC Connect. Please use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. You can also come along with us on the go using our app, which is available for download on both the Android and iOS stores.
You know, we love talking about relationships on Wednesdays.
Right.
On Relationship Today, we're going to be taking a gander at how emotional and mental dysfunction in men can affect a marriage. Yes, we said it. There are quite a few dysfunctional ones out there, and by God's grace, you will not be saddled with one. But if you are, we have a few tips for you. Adenike Oyetunde Lawal is an alternate dispute resolutor. Now, she is also a TEDx speaker and qualified human resource personnel. Now, she is so many great things, including an author with some amazing experiences to share with us. We can't wait to have her.
Yes. Wonder Women Wednesday.
Yes, it is. And on Wednesdays, we take over.
Apparently, I'm the only one who didn't get the memo.
What? The blue memo?
You shouldn't be the one talking about this. That's what I honestly feel. You shouldn't. Well, it's okay. I think we're blue enough for you.
Yes,
right.
We're blue enough for you.
Me.
For those that don't understand what the Blue Movement is about, it's our way at TVC Communications of marking
Customer Service Week.
So every day this week, they've called out a color for us to wear, you know, so that everybody can try and look a little uniform chic, you know. Yeah. And it's been going well. I didn't get the memo on Monday. You did.
Definitely did.
But then I got the memo today. Yeah, well, hey.
I think
what?
Winfrey, she is very compliant, and I am the rebel.
You've always been the rebel, though.
I'm used to uniforms, though. I mean, 6 years law school.
Really?
Black.
Goodness me. I don't know how you survive that, though. Because, you know, there is this thing about entertainment, and unless it's entertainment law, there's just so much reading to do. Like, goodness me, chapter after chapter after volume after volume after.
I think, I mean, all that is great, right? But then when it comes to the laws, you literally have to know them the way they are.
Exactly.
Do you understand? With subsections and all of that. It took a lot of training.
So these are FUAs. Now, you went to medicine.
Yeah, I would. I did had a medical background for a few years.
And then you're in law, and then, I didn't do any of those.
But how are you ladies doing? You look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Titi, I missed you yesterday.
Yeah, so it was just one of those days. Let's just leave it like that.
Like, we talk.
What? I will not talk. Okay, so you know when mommy duties go to the next level? Yeah, so mommy duties had to come to play yesterday. Okay. But yeah, I'm fine. Everything's great. Now, my girls are giving me mandates now. They're giving me instructions on what to do every day. and when I come home, they call me out on it. Now, there's been this conversation whether I'm letting my kids have too much of an opinion and a voice. I love it. I love the fact that they can call me out and say, Mommy, it's too late to be eating biscuits. You know, I love that. But some people say it's bordering on maybe, are they getting a little rude? Are they getting a little disrespectful? I think it's a conversation I might need to have.
I think it's a very thin line because I mean, then you don't know if they're being confident or just being arrogant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Welcome back. You're watching Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Winfrey Daniel Kolo, and for the news today, we'll begin with security matters. In Anambra State, despite the deteriorating security situation in the state, INEC says the governorship election will hold as scheduled. Chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, believes security agencies will strengthen safety measures to ensure this atmosphere is conducive for the election. Senior correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
Arriving for an emergency meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security at the conference room of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC is worried about the deteriorating security situation in Anambra State, but says the commission will not be deterred from conducting the November 6th governorship election.
We wish to assure the people of Anambra State that the commission is determined to proceed with the election as scheduled. To underscore this determination, the Commission is implementing 2 more activities on the timetable for the election in the next few days. The register of voters will be presented to political parties in Oka on Thursday, 7th October 2021. On the same day, the Commission will publish the final list of candidates for the election. We are confident that at the end of this meeting, we will bring up specific measures necessary to further guarantee the safety of all persons involved in the election.
The Commission suffered severe losses in the past when its facilities came under attack across the state and in the southeast region. The threat to the peaceful conduct of the election is also increasing. INEC says it is concerned about the safety of voters and election officials, especially during the deployment for the election, which will involve the movement of huge consignments of sensitive and non-sensitive materials.
We have almost fully recovered from that attack. The destroyed buildings have been either completely repaired or nearing completion, and we have fully replaced the materials destroyed. This rapid recovery has only been possible because this is a one-off season election. We have sourced some of these materials, such as the 326 electric generators and vehicles destroyed in the attack from the neighboring states.
The Office of the National Security Advisor will now have to give a reassurance that indeed the polls will be safe, and the ongoing collaboration between security agencies and the state government will translate to the peaceful conduct of an election that is just barely 1 month away.
The Office of the National Security Advisor is working assiduously with relevant security and intelligence agencies toward arresting the foregoing ugly trend and other associated security challenges in the Southeast Zone and beyond. This determination of the presidency is already being translated into action by the recent joint military operation codenamed Golden Dawn in the Southeast, as well as other security operations across the country.
36 political parties are in the contest for votes on the 6th of November in an election that will take place in a total of 21 local governments, 326 registration areas, 5,720 polling units, with more than 2.4 million registered voters. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Welcome back, people. You're still on to Wake Up Nigeria. Let's review the newspaper headlines, shall we? We are starting with the Daily Sun. Making the headlines this morning, we have PDP chair. Leaders zero in on Mark Babangida Aliyu McCarthy in strong contention. And at the bottom of the paper here, we have immigration seeks courts nod to file fresh evidence against ex-Rivers Governor Odili on passport seizure, and gunmen killed DSS officer. 2 vigilantes burned vehicles in Imo, Enugu. And also here we have federal government begins implementation of new retirement age for teachers. And you can find that story on page 29. Of the Daily Sun newspaper. Also here we have 2022, 16 trillion naira budget, largest in Buhari's 6 years. And finally here, Anambra Guba, INEC NSA raise fresh alarm over deteriorating security. And next up, we have the Nation newspaper making the headlines. Here we have Buhari's 16.45 trillion naira budget. 2022 pushes deficit to 7.9 trillion naira. And at the bottom of the paper here, let's see what we have. Police parade 11 suspected kidnappers in Abuja and 6 minors held for abduction. At the top of the paper here, we have EFCC probes 157 billion naira pension fund fraud. And PDP cheered zoning to North gains more support. Mark is front runner. And here, 118 million telephone lines linked with NIN. And finally here, education students to get 75,000 naira stipend. And that's it on the cover of the Nation newspaper. Next up, we have the Punch newspaper. Making the headlines here on Teachers Day, we have teachers' new salary scale. States NUT on collision course as government cites cash crunch. And at the bottom of the paper here, 11-member kidnap gang operating from Kano Motor Parks smashed. And cholera deaths hit 3,057. NCDC laments that on health facilities. Tree crushes 4 oil traders to death during downpour. And collaborate with Lagos, relocates Apapa Tank Farms. Senate tells federal government. And also here we have Fani Kayode using police to harass me. Ex-wife alleges petitions Senate. And Ogun bank worker accomplice nabbed for robbery. 300 million naira theft. And finally here, Kwara PDP United set for victory in 2023, says Saraki. That and many more we have here on the cover of the Punch newspaper, but you can check out the headlines later on. All right, welcome back, people. So it's Wake Up Nigeria, and yes, it's still Wonder Women Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
And it's time for What's Up and About.
Yes, indeed.
What's happening?
Let's introduce Winfrey to what this is all about. Okay. This is where we get to talk as women about a lot of different issues that, you know, when you have a guy around, sometimes it just doesn't work out. But interestingly, the International Day of the World Child comes up.
The girl child.
Girl child, yes. Comes up. And we have been talking about it, but what the theme is actually very important. Digital generation, our generation.
Yep.
Now, before now, you know, there was actually a lot of initiatives coming about to involve women in tech and more digital fields and the like. But then a lot has come to light. UNICEF have put out a lot of statistics about how girls have not really been as included in this tech world as we would like. Apparently, the gender gap is about 45% between the girls and boys being exposed to the world of technology, especially post-COVID. Even though there was a little bit of a shift from beforehand, it was around 11% till about 17%. But hey, there's still quite a gap.
Yeah. Yes, so there are 2 different things here.
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused. So when you check Google, it says my voice, our equal future.
Yeah.
And then UNICEF is saying digital generation, our generation. So I think UNICEF has its theme, and then there's the general theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we are in a space where women are given a voice. For example, we are an example of, we represent women here. We are the voice of the women.
Yeah.
You know, so when we're coming from a place of enlightenment, empowerment, education, so we're coming from, you know, some of this first, and I'm glad that we can also be role models to, you know, younger girls
it's interesting.
in this space.
It's interesting that there was a time if you can ever imagine a time where there was TV where women were not allowed to read the news or host shows, there was actually a time like that.
Yeah.
Then you now move on to women of color actually doing it as well. So things have really improved over the years, but there's still so much that we need to do. So if in your own little space, wherever you are, you can develop some kind of group meetings and events in your little communities to talk about how to improve on the mental development of the girl child in your environment, you know, it should be a great idea for you.
Okay, so generally, I think My Voice theme was actually for last year, based on what I read up on the internet. And I actually remember, I mean, several seminars spoke about that. But the truth of the issue is that the fact that that theme was for last year doesn't mean that's where it ends. Right?
Yes,
Because we definitely still need to lend our voices to causes that actually promote gender equality and things like that. Then, of course, on the situation of the digital space now and women taking over, yes, as you've rightly said, there's a lot of initiatives that have started to help ladies get more into tech. Because, I mean, even growing up, I mean, I was used to, when it comes to handling something that has to be probably like a phone or a TV or some appliance in the house, exactly, just pass it on to the guys. But I love the fact that now a lot of ladies are taking up more, like that space and doing more there. So I think it's just weird because I was reading the statistics and it has really dropped from like 2013 to 2019. I think like a significant percentage, exactly, and it's declining. And I'm like, I mean,
Why?
Why, right? Like, why is that actually happening? But that's actually the situation. And then we just need to play our role into making sure that we just do what we need to do to get...
like you have said, play our role. I feel like we all have a role to play. We might think that there's enough enlightenment, but you'd be amazed. There are... the rural areas, there's not enough enlightenment camping. There's not enough, you know, information to equip and empower some of these young girls on, you know, some of these things. I know that coding has been introduced a lot in schools these days, and I'm always in awe. I can't even wait for my girls to begin coding. I'm serious. I mean, during the holidays, I was glad to get them involved in some of the summer holiday activities, which involved coding. I was really looking forward to that week because, you know, that they need that exposure. You know, they need that exposure, and we need to keep, we need to keep, putting them in that space. We need to keep giving it to them.
I'm going to touch on something now. So let me touch on this. So I've seen a parent smack a girl's hand for touching their phone. I'm not going to say whether it was the father or the mother, but the fact that you're making devices such a mystery is actually going to make kids more curious about them. So our approach, as in my family, was to actually introduce it to them ourselves, so that they weren't, mystified by what these devices were, what it was to be online, what is it mommy is watching, what is it daddy is watching. So we got them involved really early. Now people came for us, people came for us when I put an old, like a second-hand laptop in front of my girls, and I was like, yeah, just play with it. One day spoil it. Don't put them in front of screen. They are girls, They'll start talking about things like the rays affecting them and just all sorts of stuff.
But
I think people really just need to go and get, enlightened about all these things.
I think the teachers in schools also need to take up that responsibility, right? To also push the girl child in that direction. Because in some schools, too, a lot of things happen where they actually say, okay, fine, there's this class for coding, and it seems like more boys are interested. Like, I remember when I was in school, there are certain classes that girls couldn't almost walk into because they had just like one lady in the whole class of like 40 guys. Do you understand? So yeah, they also have a responsibility.
And then quickly, before we wrap it up, I know that we are in the digital media space, we're in the social media space. As much as we want our girls, to get into that space, we also need to be, in control of what they watch and what they have, access to, what they're exposed to, because there's so many vices out there. And that's it on our What's Up and About for today. There's still so much more, guys. Stay with us. We can tell you one way to be happy in the morning. Titi, tell them.
It requires a very little effort from you. Just tune to Wake Up Nigeria.
Yes. said that's all you have to do.
That's
it.
We'll do the job for you.
Finish. We have a very simple recipe to joy. And it's making ourselves feel good that we're able to bring a lot of that feeling your way every morning.
Yes, indeed. Now, we also have a little something extra on Wednesdays because it's Wonder Woman Wednesday. Yes, the women take over. We kick the guys out so we can talk women stuff sometimes.
Amen, Titi.
And yeah, they will come for me tomorrow, but it's fine. We have had quite a bit of a day today.
Yes, we have.
A big shout out to all the women out there making things happen.
Of course, and all we ask of you is really, we are not asking for much, guys. We just want to give you a great show. And we want you to soak it in every sip, every step of the way, every moment of it. Sip it in, indulge in it. Wow. It's what keeps us, what energizes us, what excites us.
I have to say, this outfit you're wearing is giving me life.
Thank you, thank you. I actually love it. Thank you.
But we're here for your viewing pleasure. My name is Titilayo Oyinsa.
And I am Emil Koche. Please do not forget to stream with us live at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
We can't wait to see your comments on social media via TVC Connect. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC for all platforms, including TikTok.
Yes.
We've been putting a lot of effort into TikTok.
Yeah, I think we've been trying.
Yeah, we've been doing well, actually, yeah. And we have an app, of course, available for download on Android and iOS.
All right, now let's get into what we have for you for the rest of the show today.
On relationship today, we'll be taking a gander at how emotional and mental dysfunction in men can affect a marriage. Abiola Olaiwola is a certified professional mental health counselor, and he has a specialization in relationships and marriage counseling. He's going to be joining us on that conversation a little later.
And finally, Adenike Oyetunde Lawal is an alternate dispute resolutor, a TEDx speaker, and a qualified human resource personnel. She'll be joining us later on for Chats.
All right. So I have a question, ladies. How did you find out that your partner was cheating? There's that story. Everyone has a story. Everyone has one.
Why did we figure at me? Oh, well, I think in my situation, it has to be the phone.
The phone? Really?
Were you
the laptop,
snooping?
actually.
Oh, okay.
That's connected to the phone.
Okay.
And you know that
WhatsApp.
Exactly, WhatsApp. Yeah.
You know, I had
documentation to be done.
Right.
Yeah, and I had the laptop the whole weekend long.
Oh,
Wow.
So you did a lot of scrolling.
Scrolling. And I'm normally not one to snoop. But when I just sense that, see, there's something I'm not understanding.
Okay.
Do you understand? Do you
Yeah.
get there's a vibe
that's
do you
happened
understand?
to
So I'm
me
like, okay, no, I
once.
think there's something. I ask. I actually do ask first. Okay, what's going on? And like nothing. I'm like nothing.
Okay,
Like,
we'll
nothing.
find out.
Oh, cool.
We'll find out what it is.
What about you?
Let's get on
So
there.
yeah, so the laptop thing has happened to me once, and unfortunately, it was my laptop. Yeah.
Oh.
And then, you know, those messages kept on popping up. I think it was on Yahoo Messenger because it was a distant thingy. And then I just said, oh, yeah.
Wow.
So I went and showed it to him. I said, hey, this is what you're using my laptop for. Abi." Covered it. Carried my laptop to my house.
Okay, so yeah, I got a phone call. Yeah, she called me. Well, at least I think, I don't know if it was her or her friend that called me. But I was in hospital. I was ill. Yeah, and I got a call while I was in hospital.
That babe wanted to ruin you finally. You are finished.
Yeah, so the only reason why I didn't leave that hospital to go and cause, you know, drama was because my mom was there. I think my mom actually told the matrons to make sure that they lock my door so that I don't leave. Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, drama.
Wow. And on that dramatic note...
You're still watching Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Winfrey Daniel Kolo, and the news continues. The police is changing its strategy in tackling the wave of attacks in Anambra State, as Inspector General of Police has ordered the immediate posting of a new Commissioner of Police to the state. Echong takes over from CP Tony Olofu, who has been redeployed to the force headquarters in Abuja. The IGP also ordered the deployment of special forces to complement the ongoing peace-building efforts of Operation Restore Peace in the state. The new Commissioner of Police has been ordered to reverse the negative trend of attacks. reclaim public spaces from hoodlums, and restore peace in the state. Until his recent posting, CP Echong was the Commissioner of Police in charge of Bayelsa State and holds a first degree in history from the University of Maiduguri. He has also served as a former police component commander, Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe, amongst other key positions. And back in Lagos, teachers were encouraged to impact more on students as the education sector slowly recovers from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Senior reporter Sharon Ijasa reports.
It's the World Teachers' Day, which is being commemorated across the world as the follow-up to the declaration by the United Nations since October 5th, 1994. At the National Union of Teachers event held in Lagos, many teachers were spurred on what needs to be done to play their positive role towards ensuring education recovery post-COVID-19 pandemic.
In many situations, the state will say, according to the Constitution, primary school is on the concurrent list and it is the responsibility of who? The local government and not the state, but never Lagos State. Lagos State continues to invest, whether it's in building, whether it's in furniture, whether it's in teacher training. We continue to deliberately invest in our primary schools. That is our foundation. If you don't get the foundation right, we have got everything wrong. And so it's important to us that we continue to ensure that we invest. And so, when it comes to running costs, this is something that we have been talking about for a while. I think I can say categorically that with effect from a couple of months from now, the running costs of primary schools will be reduced.
As a professional labor union, we strongly consider it highly imperative to constantly offer our recommendations and advice on the need to move education forward in Lagos State. No doubt, within the last 3 years of this government administration, teaching profession has witnessed tremendous turnaround in all facets of our education system. Such achievements include regular payment of salary and allowances.
For educators, addressing well-being issues related to the advent of technology is as urgent as digital training needs. Sharon Ijasa, TVC News, Lagos.
Moving on to our relationship discussion this morning, we'll be talking about emotional and mental dysfunction in men and how it affects their marriage. Abiola Olaiwola is a certified professional mental health counselor with a specialization in relationship and marriage counseling. And today he will be enlightening us on how an emotional and mentally dysfunctional man behavior can affect a marriage, right? Okay, now let's get right into it. I've always known that, or I believe that how a boy is raised, how a boy child is raised, determines how his emotional and mental well-being will be when he becomes a man.
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Yes, you are so correct. Okay. Once again, I say thank you for having me. It's good to be here once again.
Good to have you.
Well, you just said it. First of all, I want to establish that each and every one of us are emotional beings and we're also mental beings. We're cognitive beings. Yeah. So, and basically, when we talk about mental health, we're talking about what you think, what you feel, and how you behave. Okay. Now, whether you like it or not, we're all product of our nature and nurture, our environment. Now, when it comes to dysfunctionality in men or dysfunctions in men, one of the things that speaks loud is the issue of toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. Okay. Kindly explain what that is.
Yeah. Basically, especially in this part of the world, patriarchy and the rest, the way boy child is raised is very different from the way a girl child is raised. Most of the time, the girl child has been prepared for life. From very early age, you see a girl child already in the kitchen helping with house chores and things like that, taking care of the younger ones and the likes. The boy child is probably go play around, don't worry, go watch TV and things like that. Yeah. You tell the girl child, don't let anybody touch you. It's already been told how to prepare ourselves and to protect ourselves. But for the male child, it's like, you got to think, I'll just cast your seed anywhere you want it anyway. So most of the time, we don't pay attention to the boy child. Unfortunately, what do we have? We have girls or girl children that have been prepared, yet they're going to marry those boys that have not been prepared. So what do we have? We have boys that are distant emotionally. For example, they grow up with this mentality that a boy child is superior to a girl child. In fact, in our tradition, some of our culture, you see where they send a boy child to school, they don't send the girl child to school. Thank God things are changing, but the fact of the matter, this narrative has been on for so long. And for me, as a marriage counselor and therapist, in my private practice, I see this thing play out every now and then. I know there are dysfunctions with women too, but today we're talking about men.
Yes.
So
Let's talk about the men.
Yes, one of the things majorly you see a man coming to the marriage with a superiority mentality. So he's not coming to the table with a partnership mentality. I'm the head of this home. Nobody's doubting that. Nobody's challenging that per se. But leadership is about influence, not about coercion. So we've been taught as young boys, you must be strong, you must be bold. Good. But we've also been told that you should fight your way through everything. You have been denied the opportunity to express the emotional part of you. For example, you tell you, man up. A girl child falls down, a boy child falls down. You say,
you have to be strong.
Yeah, you have to be strong. Come on, stop crying.
Yeah.
Then the boy just suck everything in. And at the end of the day, you have a guy that is not emotionally intelligent. So when such a guy grows up, he becomes emotionally distant from his wife and from his children. He does not know how to be vulnerable. You know, another thing you also see is that we've raised boy children to see them as just providers. Providing we have to do, no doubt about that. Yeah. But beyond that, there are other things you are supposed to do. You're supposed to provide nurturing. For example, every male child raised in this particular part of the world sees the raising of children in the home, for example, is the duty of the woman. All I need to do is just to provide money, provide shelter, pay for the accommodation, pay for school fees, and that's all.
Okay, you have quite spotlight. You have talked a lot about the boy child here and some of these key things to note. But now let us talk about how to identify an emotionally and mentally dysfunctional man.
Okay.
Because even so, a lot of men do not know that they are mentally dysfunctional, and you know how this behavior is going to play out in a relationship when they get into it. So we need to help us to identify some of these things and what to do about them.
Okay, it's true because it's your conditioning, so at times you may not be aware. But that's what we call self-awareness and self-consciousness. Okay. Number one of the ways you see these things play out in a relationship, you can see a guy that can't stand a woman doing better. A man that can't stand his woman earning better than him anymore. So he sees it as a competition. So you see a woman that has you see a lot of ladies that are doing well before they get married. Immediately get married, they become a shadow of themselves because they go and resign. Fine, maybe depending on your plans, on your goals. But at times, where is that coming from? Because the man can't stand the woman. Another way you see that player as a man that can't stand superior argument. You are talking to your wife, and you know that this decision, she's having a very valid point, but you just can't stand it. Another thing you see is that men that are not vulnerable. He's wrong. He can't say sorry. He can't apologize when he's wrong. So these are the kind of things you see when a man is dysfunctional, mental and emotional, because the way he's seeing it, he's seeing himself as superior. Now, another thing you see is the issue of when a man can't provide, maybe for one reason or the other. Immediately, that power is taken from him, maybe due to loss of job, the economic situation. You feel less of a man. And that should not be. You are not just a provider. You are, first of all, a leader. A man or a father is, another word for it is a source. You must be able to sustain what you birth. So basically, you are supposed to be a sustainer. And to do that is not just about money. So men throw money to everything. My wife is complaining, instead of to pay attention to her, buys her another kind of gift. My child is not doing well, change the school. Not taking time to be in their life.
So now that those things have been noted, how do you correct them? What do you do about them? And then, if you're in that relationship and you're a partner and you've noticed these things in your partner, what do you do about it? What role should the partner play? Okay.
I tell people, when you find yourself in the pit, the first thing to stop doing is to stop digging. Okay. So, change. I think it was Winston Churchill that said something that said to change. There's a way he put it. He talked about to change. It could be something that could take a little while, but to perfect it means to change often. Okay. So all it takes is that identify, acknowledge the fact that I have this. I'm not emotionally aware. I'm distant from my children. I need to pay attention to this. Have a mentor. Go for therapy. Have open conversation with your spouse.
Therapy.
Yes. In this part of the world, when you talk about therapy, people think it's all about people that are wearing rags around the street. No. Anytime you have a kind of perspective and mindset that is unhealthy, it's simply you need some form of therapy.
Okay, so what about those that cannot afford it quickly? Because we need to make sure that we're catering to everyone.
Okay.
You know.
I tell people therapy is not as expensive as people think it is. somebody said, you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Because the implication of this on a relationship and marriage is far-reaching.
Okay.
So spending some amount of money, it's like you're having malaria, you're having some physiological illnesses. Instead of going to the hospital is expensive.
Okay. So for 1 is find a mentor, 2 is go for therapy, 3 is?
3, be self-aware.
Be self-aware.
And be open-minded.
Oh, yeah. And finally, if you're a partner, what do you do? What role should you play?
That's for you need to be sensitive.
Be sensitive.
Sensitive, emotionally sensitive with them, and be understanding. Now you know that it's not because he wants to be like that. He has been conditioned to be like that. Encourage them to go for therapy.
Encourage them to go for therapy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure coming here.
It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you so
always
much.
only 1 or 2 things. I'm sure you at home watching has learned if you're in this situation, you know what to do. And we'll have to go on a quick break now. People, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're still watching Wake Up Nigeria. My name is still Winfrey Daniel Kolo, and it's time for our International Day of the Girl Child discussion with Olubukola Bamiduro, a seasoned environmentalist and a social development advocate with over 12 years of exceptional work experience in a multidimensional industry cutting across nonprofit social enterprise and societal change advocacy. She is the founder and program director of Caris and Elios Hand of Hope Foundation. Welcome to Wake Up Nigeria.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
It's such an amazing pleasure to have you here. I mean, I went through your bio and I saw a lot that you're doing as regards empowering women, and I think is absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay, so now, before we go into this discussion, which will like to tailor along the lines of International Day of the Girl Child, let me first ask you, like, tell me, why do you have such passion for the girl child? Why are you training thousands of women in, like, craft making and all of that? Where did it all start from?
Well, I have a personal experience and also career-wise. Personal, my mother shared with me how she was told to stay back at home because she was a girl, and her elder brother was sent to school and she had to stay back. Okay. So that story actually made me know that, and now she, although she's late, but she went through school, she trained herself and to the peak of her career. And also from career-wise, going through some communities, I realized that the girl child was actually neglected, and there is a need for us to be able to step in and take control of that.
Okay, great. So now tell me about your foundation.
Okay, Caris and Elios Hand of Hope Foundation was birthed to take care of the women and rural women and the girl child. We realized that there's a gap between the boys and the girls. Yeah. And, you know, the theme for this year, digitalization, our generation. Probably before now, we have a lot of men in the STEM.
Yes.
But thank God that things are changing right now. Women are evolving into that space. And there's a gap for the rural girls. So right now, opportunities are for people living in the urban cities. What happens to those girls? COVID happened last year, and all work was on social media, classes, but there was a gap from that woman whose daughter, the woman who sells tomatoes, that daughter cannot afford to be in that school. Yes. The learning gap was there. So that's why we're stepping in now to start training them through coding, the STEM, and, you know, exposing the digitalized words to them.
I mean, we'll get to that part, right? But let me go a little bit to the past, right? Where you spoke about, I mean, we were talking earlier before we came on air, and we're talking about how you train women in, like, craft making, shoes, bags, makeup, hair, cooking, baking, all of that. So now tell me, what has that experience been like? And what has been the major take home for you relating with those women?
Well, training those women has been an eye-opener and made me realize that we can do more. And gender-based violence is as a result of one of the major reasons we're having that in our societies, because the man is the one carrying all the burdens. And last year, we had an increase in gender-based violence because nobody could go to work, there was lack of funds, and the man angry, the woman is the next person. Yeah. So we training those women, interacting with them, sharing their burdens with us, and made us know that we have a lot of women going through different things. And it's been an experience. Last year we trained 5,000.
Yes. 5,000?
Yes.
What is it like putting such an event together?
Well, we started from, from 200 to 250, and last year we did a large number.
At once?
Yes. Okay, no, not at once.
Okay.
Because of impact. So we went to 5 communities, 1,000 per community. Okay. However, not even 1,000 at a time. They were broken down into cells. Okay, so we're trained 250 per week into different skills. So 50-50 every week in different skills.
So this training, are they free?
Yes, they're absolutely free. Wow. It's been paid for. Reason is that we want them to learn. We want to empower them so they don't have any excuse for not supporting their home. And we have some university girls. You don't have to sleep around to make a living, to train yourself to school. Come learn the skill so you can have a voice for yourself in the society.
Okay, so now let's talk about the theme for this year, digitalization,
our
generation. I mean, it's very important. I mean, COVID forced us home. Yeah. So literally all we had to do as regards connecting, earning, and like communicating, sharing, all of that had to literally be online and all of that. So now what is your plan for that going forward?
Okay, no, so we've identified some rural girls' schools that we've been working with in the past, and they don't have access to this in their school curriculum. So we're going to train them on, because we know that this cannot be a one-off. So it has to be something that has, so we're planning a system for them that they will be trained. So we don't want to also break into the academics. So we are looking for how to incorporate this into their curriculum that will not affect their existing education. So from Monday, we're doing the awareness so we've been to some rural communities. So we are going back there where we have, so these girls can know about this thing and also help their parents. Yes. So, if a girl knows about coding, she could set a platform for our mom who is selling whether the puff-puff or the donuts, to put her product, or the mother making liquid soap, to help her put her product online. And also make more money for the family. So that's how.
Okay, so now the entry, have they say registering and all of that, or you're here to start?
Okay, it's still in the process. Okay. So we have about 5 rural communities. We are approaching their school. So we are coming up again with some IT companies to partner with us to be able to reach out to these rural girls.
Ladies. Yes. Okay, nice. Okay, so now with all this training, I can't imagine that it's easy, definitely not. So what would you say is the biggest challenge you face?
Well, having more collaborations, because you can't do it all by yourself. Definitely. We started with out of pockets when we realized that we can't fund it anymore. The weight was so much on us. Yeah. We started applying for grants. And we got funded. So it's getting funds to be able to sustain this vision is a major challenge. And also, these girls, even after training, you still have to monitor them.
Very true.
Because we have a lot of things why girls are not focused. The peer pressure, and when you see your friend doing this, you too want to do that.
Very true.
So it's a lot of challenge trying to say, okay, this is the right path. Putting them through. And also funding is another major. So we are open for collaboration, international collaboration.
Yes. But what has been the response from people, organizations so far? I know, you can't get enough help. Do you understand? But so far, how have they come in? Are they eager to help, considering the fact that you guys actually do this thing for free for these ladies, for these communities?
Yes, I don't know if I'm able to mention the name of organization that helped us.
You can't.
So we've been able to have an international donor. So, and we're writing, and other little partnership and collaborations. We've been able to get some, but we're still open to more.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. You're doing such great work, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so now that's it from here, and we'll be going on a quick break, and when we come back, Wake Up Nigeria continues.
At this point, we're going to be having a conversation with our guests, courtesy Lush Hair. We have in the studio with us Olu David, hairstylist extraordinaire. He is in the building. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, he's a mobile stylist, and they're becoming all the rave right now, meaning that, yes, they come to your doorstep, wherever you are, to make you all glam. And he's one of those people that chop money every weekend from all these weddings that happen, especially in Nigeria. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So let's talk about your journey. When did this begin for you, hairstyling?
Yeah, I started professionally in 2016.
Okay.
So that's like roughly 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
When did you make that decision that, you know what, this is what you wanted to do?
That was around March 2016.
Okay.
Because then, as at, I think, February or thereabouts, I went on a trip to Ghana with Toby Stutch and few other stylists. So on getting there, he tended to, I think he introduced me to a lot of people over there. Then, basically, though I've been working with him a number of times.
Yeah.
And on getting back to Nigeria, I was like, no. Meeting a lot of people, then the way they roll. And I also have the talent as well, because I have this flair for hair as well, so while growing up. So meeting them, it broadened my knowledge more about hair.
Okay.
So I decided to, okay, let me just go into this professionally. So for my, the first job I had was an international job.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was outside Nigeria, a destination job actually.
Wow.
And it was through Toby Stutch. He got me the job as well too. So that was in September.
So by then, within a few months, you had made that decision and you were already getting international gigs.
Yeah.
You're making this sound very rosy and very sweet, though, because there are probably some young people right now watching thinking, you know what, I love working with hair. How lucrative is it? You know, how, because there was a time when you could only find a stylist in a salon.
Yeah.
Yeah? But when did you decide to go mobile?
I decided to go mobile. Immediately I went for that trip and got back. I was like, wow, like within how many months? Everything just started so quickly.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, but getting a salon again in Lagos, basically, is really not something you can just go into.
Okay.
You just have to just relax, take your time. Then at the long run, I thought of it. So I was like, instead of me getting a salon, staying in one place, and I can actually move about.
Yeah.
Then the clients I was getting then, they prefer me coming over to their comfort zone.
Okay.
And just make them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a big shout out to our friends at Lush. You know, they have quite a large range of products.
Yeah,
so let's talk about how you've been able to incorporate Lush into your
Lush, I started working with them, I think, early this year. And ever since then, it's been awesome.
Okay.
Because I think I started around March this year. So ever since I've been working with them, I can't remember the last time I installed properly on my bride.
Wow.
Because all what I've been working on is from Lush.
Okay.
Because it made my work so easy that and their extensions are so lush, they are durable. We can actually work with them so easily. In terms of durability is very good.
Okay.
Then the flexibility as well too, very good.
All right.
Then I got to know that Lush, it makes, for those that actually love doing braids a lot.
Okay.
At the same time, they don't like sitting for too long.
Yeah.
So Lush actually made it very easy for them in terms of making crochet braids, which is very fast to make.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I took a visit to your page and I saw some very beautiful looking brides.
Thank you.
You know, and I'm thinking, you know, bridal hair from back in the day was always so much work. So have you been using Lush hair for bridal looks?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah,
How?
in terms of making, basically for bridal hair, we do more of an updos.
Okay.
Yeah, and in terms of the updos, we have the low bun, the high bun. So for creating the low bun, we make use of low extensions.
Okay.
This is how we make use of their kinky extensions or the attachment as well too.
Okay.
And to create both the low bun and the high bun for them.
And it's reliable, yes?
Very, very reliable.
Okay, fantastic.
Very.
So I know that on Saturday morning, you know, these weddings are happening. There's always a lot of rush.
A lot.
You know, and I can still remember my wedding day, man. That hair, man. I don't know. It took a while to put together. You know, so with their products, are you saying it's faster to use Lush?
Very, very fast.
Okay.
Very, very fast. Especially with their, there's this extension I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
Easy Braid.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very fast and very easy to work with. Because it's already been picked already. Just for you to just push it out, then you're good to go.
All right. So I'm always encouraged to hear highlights of the journey of a stylist, but then there have to have been some challenges. We're making this sound too rosy now. So what are the challenges you've had to go through as a stylist?
We've had a lot of challenges. I've really, really had a lot of challenges in terms of, first and foremost, timing.
Okay.
Yes, majority of the clients I've had so far, talk of a few, in terms of timing, they don't keep to time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because majority of them do tell you, get there for 7, the appointment is for probably 9, but on getting there for 7 o'clock, you get to know the appointment is actually for 12 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
So they basically had to waste our time getting there. Wow. Then I've actually worked with some clients that on getting to them, the extensions they have, it's nothing to write home about.
Okay.
So you just have to be creative,
okay,
at least to do something creative for them. Then I think there's a client I worked with 2 weeks ago. Man, that client. No. Because on getting there, it was so perfect. Like, I greeted her, she greeted me back.
Okay.
So it got to the styling stage. She brought out a wig. Though the wig wasn't properly installed, but I didn't let her know it wasn't properly installed, so it won't change her mood. Yeah. So I laid the wig on her. So I started styling. So I think she requested for a mirror. So she checked the wig and she was like, no, the closure. I was like, no, ma, the closure is actually okay. So I wasn't trying to let her get scared or worried. So I thought that the closure was actually okay. So I don't know what happened. She pulled
the wig
off while I was almost done at the back. Oh, she pulled it off. I was like, geez, I had to control myself.
Okay.
I was like, David, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. So I was like, why would she remove the wig? She removed it off and told her friends, I don't like it. I was like, ma, I'm not even done styling. Let me just finish the styling. She was like, why will you start talking while I'm talking? I was like, no, ma.
Wow.
I'm just trying to explain to you. You don't have to explain to me. I was like, ma, let me just... I was like, okay, David, just calm down. I had to calm down for her to just calm down a little bit. So after some seconds, I think she sat down and said, okay, do what you have to do. I was like, David, just do it.
Okay.
So I started. In my mind, I was like, God, come through for me.
All right.
So I didn't let her look at the mirror all through.
All right.
So on finishing the styling, she just went to the mirror and I was like, I love it. In my mind, I was like,
oh,
thank Jesus. I was extremely happy deep within me. So,
dealing with people every weekend, you never know who you're going to meet.
Exactly, until that very day.
Honestly, thank you so much for sharing that story with us.
Too.
And good luck on your journey.
Thank you very much.
You know, more grace, more great hairstyling, and more great experiences with Lush hair. Olu David has been telling us about his stylist journey. If you have a journey you'd like to share with us, just use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. We can't wait to hear it. We're taking a quick break now and be back with more. Welcome back. Yes, this Wonder Woman Wednesday is wrapping up with another wonderful woman. Her name is Adenike Oyetunde Lawal. Now, she's an alternate dispute resolutor. She's a TEDx speaker and qualified human resource personnel. Now, she's also an OAP. She's also an author.
And a lawyer.
Amazing.
Hello. Hi.
Good morning.
To meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah?
Thank you. Thank you. So presently, you act as SSA to the governor on people living with disabilities as well. Your story is so powerful. For those that haven't read her book, Hello, is a page turner. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So now, for those that don't know, we need to touch on your journey to how you moved from being a lawyer to an OAP and now, of course, a special assistant. Let's touch on little bits and pieces here. Then.
Okay, so like you mentioned, university, undergrad, lawyer qualified, and all of that. Life then happened during that course, and I was very determined that it wasn't going to change a lot of you know, the trajectory that I had hoped and set out.
Yeah.
I continued, then qualified, and I was very certain I didn't want to practice, but I was unsure what I wanted to do.
I think that happens to a lot of
A
us
whole lot.
that study law in Nigeria.
You know, a whole lot. And it so happened that I had a friend who was on radio and had this notice put up, back then, the BlackBerry status, who would like to hang out with me and so and so. So I did go on radio to hang out with him, first show of the year. And I met someone there, the late George Omagbemi. So while sitting, you know, waiting to go on air, George Omagbemi, in his nature, walked in and was introducing himself to everyone. I should have mentioned that my father also retired from media. He retired as the director at the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN. And so the moment I mentioned my name to George Omagbemi, he didn't let my hand go. Like, why does your last name sound familiar? I'm like, yes, you worked with my dad. And then he went, you know, after all the theatrics, what do you do now? I said, I don't do anything. So, but I would like to see what happens in the world of radio and how things go around. And boom, that's how I got an internship slot. And I'm like, this is it. And that's how I got introduced to the world of media. Along the line, I'd qualified to become a dispute resolutor and all of that. So, yeah.
Okay, great. So now, how did you get this particular position, working as SSA?
Okay, so the reality about it is opportunity and preparedness. Many people like to term it as luck. But you would, across your life, have things that are burning in your heart. And an opportunity will present itself where you meet the people that should matter. I always say that I'm rich in people. I might not be rich in finances, but I'm very rich in, you know, in people, and I have a vast network of people. And, you know, they say shoot your shot. Shot my shot, and, you know, here we are today. You know, because really, you will meet a person who will say, I think this would fit you. I think you should try for this. I think you are a best fit person. You would also get to a position where you say, I think I am best fit for this. And when those opportunities do present themselves, be always ready, be prepared. It's not at that point that you now start saying, oh, let's start to look. Because there's really nothing about luck. It's about how I have been very vocal about my stance on this whole disability journey. And it's an eye-opener functioning in this capacity, I'll be very honest with you. Because one of the things that you want to see is, why are things not working as fast as I, or why are things working at this level? But now you see and you understand why. And you understand the, you know, enormity of the issues that we're faced with and how everybody can just put their hands together and say, okay, this is how everything will work. So, yeah.
So has your perspective altered? I won't say changed. Has it altered from before you had a little bit more exposure to what happens in the seat of power? For instance, there were a lot of things you were advocating for people living with disabilities. Has anything changed?
Absolutely not. Not one thing has changed. But I feel like one of the biggest things that will hit you is the reality of how many things work and the realities of how many things move around. So now, for people who know me, who are very close to me, yes, it hit me because the realities, private sector, public service, are two contrast on two different ends. And people who are close to me know how in that state of shock and disillusionment, I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, no, this is why it is that you're built for this particular season and at such a time as this. So my perspective, my realities haven't altered. They've only just been exposed to what is and what can be. Because now I now see that it's a marathon. It's and pockets of relays, you know, handing over, you're handing over the baton to this person, you're handing over the baton to this person. So you now know without a doubt that, look, for starters, it is not a responsibility that can only be borne by one person or one institution, as the case may be.
Okay, that's actually amazing because I mean, I know I met a lot of people, a number of people that have worked in government, and I know how, as you said, a lot of people, when we're out looking from a private perspective, we see it so differently. We're like, oh, okay, these people are not doing anything. But when they get there, most times people on the outside see it as, you've been influenced, Abby. You understand, that's rubbed off you now, right? So, I mean, from that point now, your perspective obviously has not changed, but now, what would you say is the difference from when you were, where you were, and then now that you're here? what would you say is the difference with the actual actualization of the goals you set out for yourself?
So the major difference is now I'm hit by the reality of, number one, the number of people having to deal with and the nature of their diverse persons.
Okay.
So in simple terms, what it means now, on a broader spectrum, I see how interesting it is to deal with people who, you know, need a lot of work on their mindsets.
Okay. Yes.
Outside of provision or, say, stipends from the government, for instance. And now you understand why it's very necessary for every single person who lives around the person living with disability to affirm them, to validate them. Because once all of those things are done from the lower level, it's easier for you to understand if you accept that there is free healthcare provision in the law for persons living with disability, or free education.
Yes.
And then you see this neighbor who has a child living with special needs, and you say, you know that this child can actually go to school. And person,
they don't
no,
know.
they don't. One, they don't know. Two, they are skeptical about it. We live in a trust deficit society. Well, we must be honest about that.
Okay.
And so now this reality of having to grapple with different perspectives, different realities of people, different mindsets, has been one of the rudest shocks for me as a person functioning now in this capacity.
Okay.
And it's also made me understand how my mental health is absolutely important. And how to cut off, say, this far no more, or I can take this on, I can do this, and how to bring things together, because a lot of things are happening, but they are happening in silos. So now, merging all of it together and saying this must happen is where we are.
Okay, so you know, there's something I note whenever I travel. There's wheelchair access in certain buildings. You know, things put in place for people living with disabilities. Have you put this particular project into consideration yet?
So it's very funny you would say this. There is an existing law. Okay, let me start from this. There is an office. Well over 10 years, Lagos State Office of Disability Affairs, you know, ably run by the GM, Mr. Dario Guntari, and his entire team. And the Office of Disability Affairs is domiciled, you know, at the Ministry of Youth and Social Development.
Okay.
There is a law, a special people's law, that was amended in 2015, and it so happens that accessibility is absolutely one of the provisions.
Okay.
Now, monitoring is a unit in the Office of Disability Affairs, and as I mentioned earlier, marathon is the reality. There are as many people who can come on board to partner with the government in ensuring that you go out and you start to penalize.
Yes.
Quite a number of places have been penalized. Quite a number of building facility owners have been penalized. And it might interest you to know that even private schools have also been penalized and stopped from sending children with special needs home to say, you are duty bound to provide them with inclusive education. Okay. So these things are present in the law. But again, so many laws, people do not know what the provisions are. Okay. And until we start to look at these provisions, you might not really know, are you serious? There's free healthcare. Did you know that?
Wow.
And over 3,000 persons living with disability actually currently enjoy free healthcare in Lagos. So
wow.
See you back to the law.
You know what? We could probably never have enough time to keep this conversation going, but it's great for us to at least start it, and hopefully we can continue it online with you. Make sure you use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC if you have a question, and we'll be tagging her, and hopefully she'll be able to answer things for you if you have a very important question. We're going to be wrapping it up now.
Yep. An amazing session. MM, how you doing?
I'm here standing in for our chef. Well, anyways, we apologize to some of you who have been looking forward to our kitchen segment. We apologize. Our chef is currently stuck in the Lekki Aja flooding. I hear there's a flooding there, and she's been stuck there, not been able to move. We are not saying there's no movement, there is, but we apologize that she was not able to be here today. But we promise you that tomorrow we're going to have a chef in this kitchen, guys.
Yes, sir.
But then, thank you all for watching. Thank you to all our guests. You all have been amazing. Thank you so much. And I think
that outfit, though,
it matches the kitchen.
That outfit,
it matches the kitchen. Yellow and red, right there.
Stop it.
You shall be kidnapped.
Stop it. We gotta go.
Yes. It's been a wonderful Wonder Woman Wednesday.
Yes.
Thank you, Adenike, for coming to join us as well on our Wonder Woman segment.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you all for joining us tomorrow, 7 a.m. people.
Yes,
Let's do this. Bye.